What is a mural? It's a painting on a wall. Well, we started over 40 years ago when no one even knew what a mural was.
I took a train back to Brooklyn, looking for a place I had to be. Gotta keep on walking, ain't the type to wait for things to come to me. Yeah.
Every wall is like a canvas in my world.
I love it.
Be a public artist, it's actually a dream come true.
It's this calling that I can't ignore, and it's this awareness that it's not just for me. The art that I'm doing is of service, and the art that I'm doing is because it needs to be out.
You always get an immediate reaction while you're outside because people are there. You know, you don't have that chance to like hide until the piece is done and then put it out there as a finished piece. You know, people see it from day one all the way through.
3, 2, 1, go.
I think what they really wanted to do, not only celebrate the renovation of the building and making it safe and comfortable and better for the residents, but they want the people who are down the street to be able to see something that reflects who they are and what their contributions have been to the neighborhood.
The Tenderloin is considered behind the curtain, right? So it's behind the curtain of what people believe San Francisco to be, in a sense, you know. If you never have ever come to San Francisco and you end up in the Tenderloin first, I would say, you know, Tenderloin is really a difficult place for a lot of people who fell on hard times.
It's a pretty crazy neighborhood. Kind of one of the last neighborhoods in the city where it's like all the poverty gets pushed into that neighborhood. So there's a lot going on, obviously. There's a lot of people on the street, there's a lot of homeless, there's a lot of drug use publicly, and there's a lot of cool ass people too.
When I'm down on the streets in the thick of the Tenderloin, it's rough, you know, it's rough seeing people sleep on the street. Growing up here in San Francisco, you know, homelessness has been a problem for a long time. I mean, I saw that back in the 80s when I was a little boy, you know, and I still see it now. I'm 36 years old. So it's like, man, just to see it, people laid out on the street, smoking crack or whatever they're smoking, you know, it's hard. It makes me appreciate life that much more.
It takes a lot of energy to be out there, but it's important to be out there and do work for that neighborhood because they really need it.
We dehumanize homeless people constantly. Like, they can't go to the bathroom. Like, there's nowhere for them to take a shit. If you can't comfortably poop, how are you gonna feel like a person? And you can be thrown by, you know, the sight of drugs and strife and homelessness and sickness and different kinds of struggle, and you can be thrown by that and you can be repelled by it, and then you remember why you're there, and then you remember what this mural is for, and then you remember why it's so important that you hold these ideas and that you go up there every day.
They're wanting to color the street instead of having another gray wall to surround you, which is already gray. We have a certain approach, which is called the Precita Eyes way. Workshops with the community, they develop the themes, they draw out their ideas, they decide where things are going to go, so we make a composition. So I had the 4 artists who I decided would be the best team to work on this project. Each one is sort of drawn to a certain image. Then they develop it, and it just sort of happens in a natural way, like Mel being drawn to doing the portrait of Billie Holiday, or Malik being drawn to W.C. Handy, or Eli to the tree, or to Monica with the lions. So everybody just kind of drew to a part that they identified with. We also had to consider that none of the artists had experience working on a swing stage before, and that was part of the process. They would have to all be trained, including myself.
Y'all having a problem with the swing stage?
It's just a little, it's a little crooked.
Right now, we have one side is further out. This side's hugging the wall tight. So we just want to make sure we have good balance.
This is Cal OSHA certified. So they go to a class to learn how to erect this thing, to put it together and take it down. And that should be the only person to do it. A certified swing stage scaffold person. Nobody else. That's the bottom line to that. That's the safety and their lives on the line out there on that swing stage.
On the swing stage, you have to be mindful the entire time you're up there. So even if I were to lean forward, the whole thing tips and everybody tips.
You have 4 people up there and you're all moving differently, so the swing moves with you, so you just gotta like be patient. It's definitely a different feeling.
It's half peaceful and half, I don't know, I can't really explain it. It's not noisy, but you feel like you're floating and you're just like absorbing everything. It gets quiet, and then you hear birds, seagulls, saw some hawks yesterday. You hear the pigeon wings flapping, cars rustling. Beautiful kind of stillness up there, because you're above everything.
Not only is it a big project, but it's starting high up off the ground, so no one could walk up close to it. So like how you paint things changes from what you normally would, because you can't get up and look at the detail real close. You're not gonna see it except from like 100 feet away. So, you can't get stuck doing tiny little details or stuff next to each other that gets lost from that distance. So you have to leave a certain amount of looseness up close for it to look good from far away.
I don't want anyone to be confused about how physical this labor is and how taxing it is and how it is manual labor and how it's an important part of industry. And there's a reason for that. It is part of the infrastructure. It's part of what makes a metropolitan city metropolitan.
If it's a real true community process, you're really listening to the people. You're listening to what it is that's important for them to see, what do they want to see in their mural. It's not my mural, it's their mural. And that's really important to me, to give the people that opportunity to have a voice and ownership of the piece.
Hi, Susan. Yeah. It's been a while. Good to see you.
Susan Cervantes, she's a very respected artist in San Francisco. She's a legend because all the work she's put in to beautify the city for decades, and still doing it. There's a lot of different perspectives from that roof. You know, there's all kinds of buildings, whether they're apartments, hotels, businesses, parking lots. You could just be parking your car on a roof one day and just like look up and like, whoa, you know, there's a colorful mural in the middle of the sky, man. Like, what's that all about? You know what I mean? So it might, you know, lure somebody in a positive, it might brighten their day, you know?
I think that any time you can break up the monotony of the everyday, like just struggling to get by, just getting to the next meal, getting to the next shelter, getting to the next place, if you can interrupt that with something that makes you stop and breathe or smile or pause for a minute, I think that that's really those moments of quiet and mindfulness are what makes the difference for anybody, especially someone who's struggling with housing or with finding a meal or with whatever they're struggling with.
It's like, you know, something positive to look at in a neighborhood like that, and putting some bright color, especially on that street, is like, so for people to be able to like stop and take a second and look up at the wall and see that is something that they don't have a lot of access to.
You know, because most people don't go to museums or go to galleries to see art. It's not part of their everyday life. And so this is what was rewarding to me, was the response from the regular person on the street. People come by and say, thank you for the colors, thank you for brightening up my day.
So when the people are involved, you actually heighten and raise the sense of culture, the value. It's almost like the family heirloom. You think about the family heirloom, you know, something that grandma's passed down to you, that her grandma's given to her, and you know, you keep that near and dear.
When we were working on the mural, everyone that walked by would like congratulate us and say how cool it was to see color and bright light, and that we were bringing something back to the community that had kind of been like sucked away in the past few years. So to see that resilience, and just in that moment of looking at something that you identify with or something that's beautiful, to see people's faces light up was really cool, and to see that like we can reverse this and things can change.